Alright guys, a couple people asked me how I was able to make that huge open world with Nanite and everything working. I'm going to show you guys my method. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not a professional instructor or anything like that. I may stutter and stumble, but let's do it. So first let's open up Unreal using 5.3. Give me a second. I'm not going to take the time to edit all this and do shortcuts, so just stick with me and you'll have a 10,000 kilometer world by the time we're done. So, alright. Games, third person, whatever you want. I'm just going to call this tutorial, I guess. Alright, create. Alright, jumping into Unreal. Brand new project. Here we go, guys. Alright, first thing I do, I delete all this crap. You don't need it. Delete, 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 delete. All that's gone. Okay, delete that. Delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Exponential height fog, I'm going to hide it because the world's huge, and the volumetric clouds, I'm just going to hide it for now. Alright, I'm going to take everything, just so I know where it's at, I'm going to put it to 0, 0, 0, middle of the world. Alright, here we go. Selection mode, landscape, right? Everybody's been trying to import from a file, but there's limits to the size you can use, and you're stretching your textures, and it's a pain in the ass. So here's what we're going to do. Let's crank this bitch to 11. Boom, boom. We'll go 255 quads, 2x2 sections, crank it up all the way. Total components 256. Now, by default, it's an 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer landscape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it by 1250. 1250, 1250. That'll give us a 10,000 kilometer by 10,000 kilometer map. But it's going to be flat, so you don't have to worry about height map stretching. We're just going to hit create. Let this thing do its thing. Do. Oh, man. It'll take a second. Just be patient. So what we're doing is we're importing a 10,000 square kilometer flat map. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some plugins. All right, so here we go. We got our map. Give it a second. I'm going to turn this to times 10. So we got a huge map we're working with now. So we can fly out. You can already see that our sky sphere doesn't even cover the map. So let's select that sky sphere. Go to selection mode. Click on it. And we'll do this 2000 by 2000. I can't type. 2000 by 2000. Now our sky sphere encompasses our entire map. Just to prove to you that this is 10K by 10K, real quick, I'm going to go back into landscape mode. I'm going to sculpt the brush size. I am going to turn this. When you slide it all the way up, it goes to 8192, but you can actually 65,563 is your max size. I always type in 100,000, just let it do its thing. So I'm just going to scope that up on each corner. The reason I'm doing this is you guys don't have to follow along on this part. It's just to show you guys so we can see it in orthographic view. It's not just a flat sheet. It gives us some depth. So, okay. There we go. So perspective's a weird thing. It doesn't look that big, but if you go down here, click play from here, you can see I'm still on that part I sculpt up. It's insanely large. In fact, why don't we go into characters, third person, blueprints, and we will come down here. Our max walk speed, 500, we're going to turn it to 5,000. Compile, save that. Alright, so now, if I come over here and play from here, this is going 10 times your speed you're supposed to be able to run. Gives you an idea of the sense of the scale of this map. Just fun to play with. You guys can see how big this map truly is. Alright. So, perspective. Let's just go to the front. We'll select the landscape. Hit F to focus it. Alright, so scrolling out, there's our landscape. There's one hill of it. There's the other hill. If we hold the middle mouse button and click, you can see that that is 10,175,480. I'm just going to call it 10 million. So if we go over here, centimeters to kilometers, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 100 kilometers. If we go to our calculator, 100 times 100 is 10,000 kilometers squared. Okay, awesome. So we have a nice flat, boring plane, right? That's no fun. So one of the first things we're going to do before our mesh gets too complicated, go to settings, go to plugins. We're going to look for water. Enable your water plugin. Get rid of that. Go land. Click your landmass and your landscape patch. Very important. Okay, now that we have those three, let's restart the project. Save selected. Okay, let's click out of that. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to do is go up here to place actors, type water, water body custom, drag it in. There you go. We're going to put the location 0, 0. We're going to put the X value at something like 5,000. Okay, I'm going to hit F for focus again. There's our water plane. That's basically the depth. Let me turn this down a little bit. That water plane is going to be where my ocean is. I'm going to set it about, I want my landmass to be about the bottom of the ocean. So let's scale this thing up. It automatically put the water body zone around our location. So if I type, select, make sure water body custom, select about 40,000 in each direction. Okay, so now, turn up my camera speed here. Now we have a huge ocean encompassing our land. Awesome. Now how do you get your height details for the map you want? So what I did was to, I will put it in the description. Blender Sensei has an amazing landmass. Sensei landscape. Come here, get his landscape, copy that. I'll leave a link in the description. So what we're going to do is come over here to content, show and explore, and paste that right there. Alright, cool. So now we have our landscape. Under patches, there's blueprint landscape with a bunch of brushes. I'm not personally going to use these brushes because they're 1K textures. So I'm just going to delete those right now. But it's just blueprint that he made for us. That's amazing. So make sure to go show him some love. No more than Gorka though. Alright, so we're going to take this and we're just going to drag it into there. Hit accept. Okay, you can see here that we have a landscape patch manager. So I'm actually going to kind of clean this up real quick. I'm going to take water body zone, add a file. Click it, F2, we'll call it water system. Alright, cool. Gotta stay organized. And then I'm going to do landscape, world, my world partition, data layers, and landscape. I'm going to put all that under a folder called landscape. Alright, cool. staying organized. Now, Landscape Patch Manager. Let's create one more. F2, we're going to call that Landscape Patches. Alright. Drag it in there one more time. Now you have a Landscape Patch and a Landscape Patch Manager. Keep it all together. The Landscape Patch, very important. Click that. Come down here. Actually, before anything, click the Manager. Come down here and make sure that it is set for your landscape right here. If you're not sure, if you renamed your landscape something else, like call it Tutorial Land, you just want to make sure your Landscape Manager is set to your landscape. Perfect. Now let's go to Landscape Patch. Really important. Go down here. There's a couple parts. You got your Landscape Patch. Before you move anything, do anything, let's zero this out. Alright, center of the world. Click this component right here. Come down here and choose, where is it? The source. Sorry, forgive me guys, I wasn't planning on making a tutorial. Source mode right here. Texture asset. Alright, so let's close this. There's Terra Sculptor, World Machine, Gaia. There's a bunch of great ones. I personally like Gaia, but I'm gonna take this texture here. All this is an island. I'm not trying to get the details of mountains, valleys, canyons, deserts. This is just to outline my world map. It's an 8K texture. So I'm going to bring this texture in right here. Give it a second, it imports. Select that texture. Select it right here. Now this is important. Click back on Landscape Patch. Hit F to focus in on it. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. You can see it's just a small patch, right? No big deal. So what we're going to do is select that patch, and we are going to I got the water system selected. Select the patch. We're going to scale this up by, say, 5,000. See what that gets us. Yeah, it's pretty close to the world edge. You know what? I kind of want a little bit of water around the edge of the map anyway, so that's good for me. But you can adjust the scale till it's right at the edge if you want to. And 5,000. There we go. Good enough for me. I want the ocean to hang out just a little bit. May slow down. No big deal. Just give it a second. Now, the reason why we went with such a really simple texture without mountains and valleys is because we're stretching the hell out of this texture. But that's all right. Let's go, say, I don't know, 500 for the Z. Now, we are going to... I didn't mean to do that. I keep accidentally selecting the water. Sorry, guys. Let's put this at 500. Okay, that's way too big, I can tell already. We don't want those sharp spikes. That's not what we're going for. We're just trying to get our contents, our landmass figured out. So what I'm going to do is scale that way back. Let's try something like 50. Okay, that's making a little bit more sense. I can smooth out some of those rougher shapes, not a problem. Alright, so make sure we have Landscape Patch selected, Landscape Patch Self. And what I'm going to do is just move this down. It's going to be real slow, just be patient with it. You only have to do it one time. I keep selecting this water body. Landscape patch, there we go. Okay. Give it a second to update. Sorry if this video's dragging on, guys. We'll get it right now, though. Dragging the sky sphere. Jesus Christ. Okay. Landscape patch. Drag this down. Back up. This is embarrassing. Okay, just give me a second. I can see a little bit of the landmass sticking out there. That's good. Like I said, I'm not an instructor or by any means a professional, so just bear with me here. Sorry, I'm just going to redo this and type in the value so I look like I know what I'm doing. It's going to be real laggy, but once we got it where it needs to be, guys, we'll be good. See how close we are to the water. Pretty close. Maybe negative 15,000. Thinking about just typing it in. More, negative 20. Negative 20,000. Negative 10,000. You know what? Let's just go with that for now. For the purposes of showing you guys how to do this. You guys can mess with it, get the water levels right where you want it. But there we go. We have landmass with oceans, right? If you want to adjust your ocean, just go into the water body material and mess with it. Good enough for me. I'm happy with it. Okay, but it's still kind of flat. But that was the point. We're stretching it out, so we don't want a bunch of mountains and stuff because they would just look like PlayStation 1 triangles. So now that we've got that done, what we'll do is bar that again. And I have a couple height map patches. This mountain, for example, it's an 8K texture. We'll drag it in there. Alright. And what we're going to do is we're going to hide the exponential fog. We're going to hide the volumetric clouds so I can kind of see what we're doing. And with the lighting, let's, there we go. Alright. So now, basically, what we'll do is this landscape patch, copy it. And go ahead and paste it right in there. So we're going to call this one we're going to name this patch underscore mountain underscore 1 or whatever it is. So basically what we'll do now is we'll come down to the mountain. We will select our mountain and assign it. Then we're going to give it a second. It doesn't need to be 5,000, more like say 200 by 200. Okay, there we go. Now we have a nice resolution mountain. Let's go say 20 for the X scale. 30. There we go. Nice mountain. So under the patch, no, I'm sorry, under the landscape texture patch, under alpha blending, click max. Now what this will do is it will only allow the landmass to raise. So you can just kind of pick it up and stick it out of the landmass like that. And you just go around your map and stamp mountains and canyons and whatever else you want. Just go to World Machine Gaia, whatever, get your 8K map, and it's just for a mountain, not for the entire map stretched to oblivion. So perspective, once again, it's a weird thing, but if we come down here, stand right here and play, you can see how big that mountain is. And we can scale it up. Select that mountain patch. Let's go maybe 500 by 500. There we go. We can kind of mess with it. It all blends together, right? Come over here, play from here. You can see just how big the mountain is. In fact, why don't we come up here? And that's what I was kind of trying to avoid, is these sharp triangles. But, you know, you can get up to a 16K map and stamp it on there. And you can go back and smooth it out. In fact, let me show you how to do that. So the patches, if you go to landscape mode, landscape patches, it's not going to let you do anything to them. What you have to do is create a new layer. Let's rename this layer patch smoothing. I don't know, whatever you guys want. Select that one. Now we can kind of smooth it, maybe turn it to a 0.1. Then you kind of smooth out those rough spots, right? And that's what you do. You run around and you just stamp your whole map how you want it. If we look at my frames per second, it's still running amazingly, well over 100. And you can go around, kind of smooth out some of those spots. Every time you adjust it, your frames will dip for a second, but that's normal. Right, and there you go. So there's our huge landscape. Remember, we're running 10 times the speed we're supposed to. There's that mountain way off in the distance over there above his head. So a 10-kilometer map. I showed you how to stamp things. If you're making a canyon, instead of max, go minimum, and it'll suck it down into the ground. And yeah, you know, you can hide some of those spots if the wire's sticking through. And there you go. So cities, that city I had in my deal, that is all. Let me save this. You can use any, just YouTube any auto landscape material and slap the landscape material on there, and you should be good to go. That one that we downloaded from Blender Sensei actually has landscape. So if we select this, turn it into material instance, mi_landscape, select that, select our landscape tutorial land, come down here, landscape material, and apply it. This may take a minute or two. It's going to go through and put that material on there. At first it's going to be dark. Don't freak out, guys. It's normal for it to be dark like that. No big deal. So the first thing we're going to do is, here, let us save it. Okay, so under paint, the auto material, just hit plus and weighted blender. You got to save it. So once you save it, it assigns that material to the landscape. Now he's got some default materials in there. It should turn to like this tannish clay color. And those spots are just to kind of blend in texture so you don't see any repeating patterns, give it a little color variation. But what we can do real quick is under window, go to Quixel Bridge, type grass, Okay, awesome. I'm just gonna Nordic Forest. Perfect. I already have. No, I don't have this one downloaded. Let's download it. Pick whatever grass you want. It doesn't matter. Add it to the project. So under content, landscape, materials, under that material instance that we just made, let's drag this over here. Boom. I think B is meant to be grass. This is more like cliff face and dirt. So turn color B, roughness B, normal B. All credit goes to Blender Sensei, by the way, for this. But mega scans, surfaces. We'll take the grass. We'll attach it to the grass color. The normal. Attach it to the normal. And then this gray uses the green channel. So under here, let's open this up. Take off the blue and red channel. I just want the green channel. Save that. Select that one. And, oh geez, what did I do with it? I lost it. Give me a second. Accidentally closed out of it. Sorry about that, guys. So, content, mega scans. Where were we? Surfaces, mossy rock. So I can select that one. Assign it for the roughness. Save it. Close that out. And let's see, layer B, weighted layer, save. Or maybe it's A. Maybe I'm thinking of the, yeah, okay, so that one's supposed to be the rocks. My mistake. Let's go back into the landscape, materials, material instance. My mistake. Here we go. So A is the grass. Let's reset that to default. And content, mega scans, surfaces, mossy rock, color to this one, normal to this one, or we're already using just a green channel to that one. There we go. Now we got some grass. I say you can go around, smooth these out a little bit. We stretched the hell out of that island texture just to get our land mass going. But there you go. File, file, save all. I'm only running at about 100 frames per second, but I'm also recording too, so. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this and show you how to get the city in there. So you go around patching all your landscapes. Then what you need is Blender. So go into Blender. This is Blender 3.6. You'll select A for all, X to delete. And what you need, I'll put the link in the description, but what you're going to need is to turn your view way the hell up, say 100,000 meters. Go to BLOSM after you have it all set up, and hit select. It's going to give you a world map. Let's just zoom in here somewhere, say San Francisco. Why not? Someplace with a complicated metropolitan area. Look at all this. Okay, let's just say I like... let's go with something interesting. Say this area right here. You can get bigger areas. They'll tell you if the area you're trying to get is too big. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to slow it down right now. Make it so it actually goes a little quicker. So hit copy area. Successfully copied. Minimize this. Paste it right here. And just click import. So there you go. We have that whole city. Sorry, I'm switching between Unreal and Blender. The controls are different. You'll have to excuse me. We'll select the buildings. Hit spacebar. Convert to mesh. So now that's a mesh. If I hit tab, I go into edit mode. I can hit 3 for face select. Grab it along the Z, and I can adjust these. If I wanted to, I can select them all. Hit U. Smart UV unwrap. Okay. Up here, I can go to UV editing. Open. And I have just a city JPEG. And over here, go to materials. Hit the plus sign to create a new one. Under base color, select that. Hit image texture. right here in this little window. It's like city. Change the view up here and hit assign. Now what I'm going to do is take this, A for all, scale, S for scale, and just scale this up. There we go. Now we have just a variety of building images printed on there, just to give it, a sense that it's a building. Go back into layout. We look at it. We have all our buildings. It's a mess right now. It's just a placeholder, guys. Go in, select our roads. Hold shift, select all the different roads that come in different files. Let's see, am I missing any? Yeah, I'm missing this big highway here. Let's see. I think that's most of what I want. I'm going to do the same thing, convert to mesh. And then I'm going to, while I'm holding all those roads, select the buildings, hit Control J to join them all. Now it's all one mesh. Actually, you know what, before I do that, I hit Control Z to undo. Let me just select just the roads. Control J to join them all. Convert them to mesh. Tab into edit mode. Select them all. Look at it from the side view and extrude along the Z. Just gonna give them a little bit of depth there. Alright. Now I'm going to select the roads. Hold shift, select the buildings, hit Control J to join them all. I'm going to hit Control I to select everything that I'm not currently selecting, just delete it. X to delete. So there we go. We have a layout of a city. Kind of cool. Hit A to select all that. File. Export as a FBX. We'll call this Tutorial City. Export under desktop. Alright. That's it. Done with Blender. Yeah, I'll save it as whatever. Okay. Back in Unreal. Zoom that out. Let's look for Tutorial City FBX. Let's go to Content. Expand this a little bit. Create a new file. Call this City Placeholder. Alright, open that up. I'm just going to drag my FBX in there. Hit Import All. Give it a second, do its thing. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So there's my city. I drag it out. Boom. Let's see. We're in landscape mode. Let's go to selection mode. Select the tutorial city. Drag it up real quick and take a look at it from the front. Now, a one-story building is about 14 foot. I think it's about 400 and something centimeters. So let's see. We want, that looks like a one-story building right there. So let's click our little middle mouse. Yeah, it's about 440 centimeters. I'm sure it's kind of hard to see, but it is from right there to right there. 430. Perfect. So it's pretty much to scale. Let's go back to perspective. There we go. It's just a placeholder, guys. You can set it down, stick it out of the landmass a little bit. Come over here. You know what? I bet you it has a collision on it. Let's open it up and turn it to no collision. Save that. Alright. Play from here. And there you go. You have an outline of a city that you can eventually block in with real buildings. No collision, so you can run through it. But you got your streets right here, and everything's just kind of set up. That's about it, guys. You start blocking out your world and filling it up. I would highly recommend that you wait to do nanite on the landscape. It's a huge landscape and it's going to take you hours to build. And the problem is if you build nanite now and then you come over here after nanite's built and you go to smooth out something or raise something, whatever you choose to do, nanite's going to have to recompile and save every single time you exit. So I would get everything organized and then at the very end do nanite. And you may find nanite crashes. So here's how you fix that. What you're going to do is go to your settings, system, about, go to advanced system settings over here, and you have performance, memory usage. That's the one we're after. Hit settings and go to advanced, virtual memory. That's what keeps crashing. Hit change. Recommended 9,000 megabytes. Yeah, right. I select one of my M.2 drives and I crank that thing up to 150,000. Right? Whatever you can afford to give it, an SSD or whatever you have, crank that thing up. Currently allocated, I'm allocating a lot of memory to be able to build that nanite. So once you have that built, all you need to do is go back into it, select your landscape. Let's go to selection mode, tutorial land. Right here, enable nanite, check that box and build data. I suggest you do it before you go to bed. It may take an hour or two. I don't know. I watched TED 2, and by the time it was done, it had built it all. But I would do that at the very end after you smooth out any little sharp areas. You've built all your mountains. And you can always, real quickly, just select that mountain, hit Control D, and now you have another mountain. And it just blends in seamlessly. Don't be afraid of these little lips right here. It's no big deal. You just come up to landscape mode, smooth it out, and it's almost like suturing a wound. You just close it up. We can crank that up to, say, 0.5. We got that nice big brush handling huge amounts of landscape at us. And that's it. I mean, you can take your time, flatten it out a little bit better, but there you go. Now we have another mountain. And you just basically stamp in all the landmarks you want, place all the cities you want, and there you go. You may have to do a collision box for the ocean with a post-process effect, a texture that shows you swimming and everything. Gorka has an amazing tutorial on that. Smart Poly as well. A lot of these guys. So yeah, hope it helps someone. Later, guys.